You are going to be very, very pleased. You're going to learn a lot during this segment on today. I have a two for one, if you will. Two guests that are going to come in and talk to us today. I was impressed probably about maybe some weeks ago to do a segment talking about COVID 19 survivors. I knew of a few, but I put out a little poll, or if you will, in asking individuals if you wanted to participate, then to hit me up and to contact me. So some of you reached out to me, and then some of you, I reached out to you. So during the month of July, we're going to have this segment, a special segment, talking about those survivors of COVID 19. And I am excited to do this because, of course, I mean, we all know that we're going through this pandemic, and everything is happening all at once. Seems like it's a little bit overwhelming for us, if you will. But I just thank God because sometimes we can look at the news and we kind of get a little bit overwhelmed by statistics and talking about all those individuals that have actually succumbed to COVID 19. But I want to talk about those that have survived, that have hung in there. And so you see with me today a beautiful woman of God. I tell you, she's been a quiet individual since I've met her. Now, those of you that really, really know her, like she ain't quiet, don't know where you getting that from. But she's been from the moment that I have met her, and I have been pleased to make her acquaintance and to call her my friend. Joining me today, and I'm going to read a little bit of her bio, but joining me today is Rolanda, prophetess Rolanda McKee Smith is here. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. I am so grateful to be with you. I'm so grateful to be in the land of the living. Let me just say that. Let me just start out by saying that in the context of what we're talking about today. I'm pleased to be, as my grandfather would say, 6 feet above ground.
I heard a little bit of your testimony, which is actually, Rolanda is one of them. I said earlier that I reached out to some and some reached out to me. I reached out to her because I wanted to hear, I wanted her to share her journey with you all. I heard a little bit of it when I was on a conference Zoom with Dr. Lord Michael Hunt and Prophet Joe Hunt and Apostle Hunt. And she came on and she was talking about her journey, and my mouth was open. I was like, what? And so I said I wanted her to talk today to you all about what she's dealing with. Let me read just a little bit. She is hilarious. That's one thing I'm hilarious. He kept telling me, I don't know. And I was almost uncertain if I would get her on here today, but she gave me what she called a short bio. So I'm going to read a little bit of that. Talk about who she is on today. Rolanda Smith is a minister, wife, mother, nana, and cosmetologist born in Chicago, Illinois. She joined Faith Cathedral Total Man Ministries in 1997 under the leadership and tutelage of Chief Apostle Dr. Lord M. Hunt, Overseer and Pastor Ferris, I believe that is, and Pastor Cynthia Davis. She was encouraged to enroll in SCOPE, and that stands for School of Apostles and Prophets, where she was ordained in 2005 to a minister. As she continued to serve in various capacities of ministry, God revealed her calling, and under the leadership of Apostle Dion and Pastor Cecilia Hunt of so-called the Center Church, she was ordained to the office of prophet in 2007. Rolanda has always steered away from public speaking, which is why I didn't know I would get her on today, and referred to her salon styling chair as her pulpit. It's always been said, hairstylists wear many different hats: therapists, doctors, mediators, etc., due to the various conversations they have with clients. Rolanda is devoted not only to personal beautification, but helping to heal hurting hearts. I love that. Rolanda says this is where God uses her the most, and she's forever grateful. Rolanda resides on the south side of Chicago with her husband, Daryl, of 27 years. Again, welcome to Mind, Body, and Soul. She can't even get called Annette, you know. Rolanda, Prophetess Rolanda. Thank you so much for coming in on today. Well, of course, we're doing everything virtually, guys, but I can still say it like that. But yeah, I've given the intros and everything, and I do want to recognize those of you that are on the Facebook Live. Because we are on my page, Annette Numbers Annette, and then also the audio of the session right now is on my YouTube channel. Once a segment in, then the entire video will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. So, and if you haven't done so, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Little commercial break there. All right, recognize a few individuals. I see you, Gloria. I see you, Carolyn, Demetrius, Marcus is on. Apostle, hey, Apostle. Dominic is watching. Karen, my super duper producer Earl is on. Jasmine Woodard Jones, Beatrice Carter, Michelle Hollins, Casey, Eric is on. They're all greeting us and saying amen. Robin, I see you. Thank you for watching. And Elise Crawford. If you haven't done so yet, guys, click that share button. You know what I say? It costs you nothing. It doesn't even cost you a penny. It costs you nothing. Go ahead and click the share button, and then that way others will know that this wonderful segment is happening and that they will not miss a beat. The second segment will feature Jasmine, and she's watching now at around the 1 o'clock hour. So 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. So I don't want you guys to miss anything. So Rolanda, let's hop right in this with both feet, both hands. I want you to talk to us about this COVID, how you were affected. Tell us about whatever you can leading up to it and everything that goes into it. It's in your hands.
Okay. Now, I know you mentioned earlier about the Zoom conference thing that we did with Dr. Hunt. What a lot of people didn't know, I was at that time, I was doing that Zoom from the rehabilitation center. So I was still actually in the hospital. And I went back to that recording this past Sunday, just to kind of see, questions, what I wanted to talk about, basically to see where I was and where I am now. I sound a lot better. I can breathe a lot better. As if anybody talked to me at that time when I was in the hospital, we take things for granted, I think. Just a mere blinking. You don't give a thought that your eyes are blinking. They just blink. Breathing. You just know that just because you're up and you're coherent, as we may say, that next breath is going to actually come. Now, with COVID, you are literally in a warfare for just oxygen. I'm learning still things about my body and the way it changed my body, and even looking at my husband, things that, he used to be able to do that he's not able to do. Now, this virus, it's so demonic. I can't even compare it to anything other than if you've ever had the flu, you know how the flu feels. I've never had pneumonia, so I never knew what pneumonia per se feels like. I've always had allergies. Anybody that knows me from childhood knows that my allergies are horrific. Nose swole up. I can't, that's a normal for me. Not being able to smell or sometimes taste. My eyes is itchy, upper respiratory issues. But COVID it's like a 1-2 punch. You have pneumonia and the flu combined together on steroids. That's about the only way I can explain it. And it's traveling through your body like a cancer. aiming to take it was aiming to take my life. That's the only way I can explain it, being now on the other side of it. It is horrific. It is horrific.
Can I, how did you even know that anything was different with you? Because you mentioned about your allergies, and it sounds like some of the symptoms that you experience with allergies are some of the symptoms of COVID, right?
It is, but wait, let me tell you, I had no symptoms of COVID. When I went to the hospital, this was March the 21st, Daryl's birthday. My chest was hurting on my left side. I kept feeling it's like this dull pain. I didn't have any respiratory issues. I didn't have loss of taste or smell. I didn't have a cough. I didn't have a fever. I didn't have any of that. I just had this dull pain in my chest, and the skin felt hot to touch. So I called my doctor. You speak to the nurse practitioner. He was in the office, so she allowed me to speak to him. He told me to go over to the hospital, go to the hospital right away. I'm going to put in orders for you to have an EKG done. It sounds like a DVT, a blood clot. This is what it sounded like, is what he said. I'm on call at the hospital. I'm on duty at the hospital this evening, so I'll be there to check on you. I'm going to call ahead and tell them to put the orders and stuff in. Went through the emergency room. They did the EKG. Took me up to do a CT scan. From that CT scan led to an MRI. Because I have such allergies to different things, they had to prep me for the MRI, contrast dyes, and things of that sort. They saw the blood clot. I had a blood clot on my left lung. Kept me overnight. Started me on heparin via IV. Put me on there, just a blood thinner. Now they're treating it. Now my doctor's there. He's looking at the results. He wanted them to start me on heparin right away. I'm in the hospital. What I thought was for a DVT, blood clot. So one of the nurses that was on duty caring for me, this is 2 days in now. I'm fast forwarding 2 days in. They told me just abruptly, I'm ringing for her. She had to leave. They had to send her home. I said, what was going on? Oh, she's sick. Now, some nurses was telling me that she was sick. It took a sister to come in, nurse, to tell me. Now, this is my nurse that's caring for me. Now understand, all other nurses was coming in, just mask, that's it. Gloves, that's it. The new nurse that's coming in to me now is suited and booted. Let me just say it that way. She has on the whole face guard, the whole this, that, and the fourth. She tells me that the nurse that was caring for me was sent home because she had COVID. But she didn't know. She just, now, periodically, they're checking for fevers. In between her taking care of me, now this is day 2 of her taking care of me, she was with another patient who had COVID. So now they've transferred me down to the COVID unit. Now I have to get tested. Get tested for COVID. 2-3 days later. Now, the first test they did in the emergency room, they tested me for the flu. Now, this is automatically now. Back in March, if you can remember, they weren't testing everybody. Right. The tests then were, no, you have to, display these symptoms. You have to have this. You have to have that. You don't have a cough, we're not going to test you. They ended up testing me. They tested me again 2 days later because I now came in contact with somebody that had it. 3 days later, I get the test results back. I'm COVID positive. In the midst of them doing this DVT, they had the person come in and do another scan because now I can't leave the room. I'm quarantined. Everybody that comes into me now has this spacesuit. Mind you, I still didn't have symptoms. The third day, that's when it hit me. And everything just started, it's like doors shutting. It's door shutting. I got a fever. My body was aching. Nose was stopped up. Couldn't smell nothing. Couldn't taste anything. Body aching. A fever. My fevers were like running between 101 and 103. That occurred for 5 days. 4 or 5 days. About 4 that I know for a fact before my son stepped in and was demanding of the doctors to start me on an IV of vitamin C because he had read that Johns Hopkins was already doing their studies that vitamin C will help to kill the virus. That's what my fever broke. They gave me 2 days of IV fluids along with this medication. I can't even pronounce the name, the one that your president is claiming that he took. And and an antibiotic. I don't know if it was working or not because, like I said, it wasn't doing anything. I was in the hospital, 3-4 days in, and nothing was happening, but I thought I was dying. And it was about on the third day that I just knew I was on my way out of here that I called my husband. And I don't know what just made me pick the phone up and call him, and now I'm crying because I'm saying, okay, I'm about to leave here. I feel like I'm about to die. And the way I feel, and I don't think I ever told anybody this part, the way I felt, I was okay with it. I just wanted that to just stop. And I called Daryl and I'm talking to him and I said, I feel horrible. I said, I've never felt this sick before in my life. And before I can say the words, I'm okay with it, he started talking and he wasn't talking to me in himself. That's another sign of COVID. Delirium, confusion. He was telling me, and this was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, he's saying to me, I can't find this scripture. I said, a scripture? He says, yeah, I'm trying to find the scripture in the Bible. I got to speak. Everything that I felt like I was going towards the light stopped. I said, Daryl, put the Bible down. Get to the hospital. Come to Christ Hospital right now. I need you to come right now. And that Daryl does not know how he even got to the hospital, how he parked the car, how he got in the emergency room. He doesn't remember any of that. They intubated him day 2. He doesn't know any of that. He remembers nothing. He was on oxygen, intubated, on life support, might as well say, for about 8 days, 8 or 9 days. So yeah, that now, just going back to me, immediately now this is playing in my head. Lexi not going to be able to deal with both her parents gone. Ryan not going to be able to deal. I got 2 grandbabies that I need to see grow up. I was like, okay, now I got to fight because we can't lose both of us. Yeah. It's just, yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you got to the part to talk about your husband because both of you were affected, but obviously, so he probably didn't have any symptoms himself either originally.
No, he did. Actually, he got sick at work. let me just digress back. I'm at the time caring for a loved one. I was caring for this loved one, staying in the house with the loved one, who at the time was getting ready to go, was actually not getting ready to go through, was going through chemotherapy. Um, I'm so grateful to God that my contagious didn't happen. If I had it, cause I just don't know. My contagious didn't happen before I got to the hospital because, and then I'm a hairdresser. I had did clients the week prior. I'm caring one-on-one. I'm one-on-one with this loved one. I'm fixing, preparing meals, getting medications together. I'm one-on-one. I'm so grateful to God that nothing happened to them. But Daryl was caring for the same loved one. We're in the house with these people. We're in the house with them. Daryl called me from work saying, I got a fever. I'm just feeling awful. I called my doctor. He did this conference call with me. He told me it sounds like flu. I said to him, you can't come back over here. Not knowing I'm sick, you can't come back over here. You got to go to go to the apartment and you have to stay there because you can't bring that over here. Because this loved one is so sick, a mere cold can take them out. Their immune system is just totally shot. I said, you can't bring any of that. So mind you, I hadn't seen Daryl in about maybe 9 days before I went into the hospital. See, I didn't see Daryl.
Oh my.
Yeah, I didn't see him. There was like a 9-day period that I didn't see him. So mind you, I went in the hospital not even seeing him. And then in the hospital, not knowing if he was going to leave here too.
Okay, so you really did get it while you were in the hospital.
I'm sorry.
I said, so you technically did get the virus while you were in the hospital.
I don't know. See, that's the scary part. I don't know. Because I talked to my doctor and he says now they know about, see, they're learning, everything is a learning experience with this. We didn't know about asymptomatic back in March. That you cannot have any symptoms, but yet have a period of contagion. I could have been asymptomatic because I didn't have no symptoms, any of the symptoms, but because of the precautionary measures I had started taking because of the virus, Clorox wiping everything down. That's sterilization and sanitation for hairdressers anyway. They get out your chair. Now I'm being Katie the cleaning lady about it. I'm cleaning, wiping down the bowls and wiping down everything. At the loved one's house, I'm constantly cleaning and wiping down. That could have been the reason why they didn't get it. Because the germs that I could have been leaving, I probably cleaned away. So I don't know. I'm still asking God. I want to know, how did I get this? Where did I get this from? What was I doing and what was I not doing? Now, one thing I know for a fact that I wasn't doing, which is hindsight now, is wearing a mask.
Right.
See, right. Wearing a mask.
So you were not wearing a mask?
No, we weren't wearing a mask. It wasn't, you didn't have to wear a mask then. And then 45 was, you don't have to wear it. You can and you can't. But then, the CDC head, Fauci, was saying, he was agreeing with the president. You don't have to if you don't want to. But back in March, it was early. That was so early, we didn't know. I just knew this is a virus and you got to treat this like a virus. Let me wipe stuff down, because then it was like, okay, you need gloves for everything, or you can lay on stuff, or you touch this or you do that. But because I'm feeling like, okay, I'm not sneezing, I'm not coughing, no extremities are coming from my mouth or anything. Let me protect what I touch. So now I'm cleaning.
Which makes sense. Typically, what a lot of us were doing, especially before, like here in Illinois, before the masks were made mandatory. So we were sure that we, washed and cleaned everything. So I could understand that. But this is so deep. Let me hop over here real quick because they're throwing up comments and you have us in tears. I want you to know that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I mean, I don't know, we're just touched. We're touched by what we hear. Brandy says here, it took her husband getting sick and thoughts of her children to give her a new fight for her life. Wow. And reading that is touching me all the more because you were like, wait a minute, my baby ain't talking right. You said before you can get out of your mouth that I'm okay.
I'm going to die. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. It was like Rolanda the servant kicked in. It was like, whoop. You know how you stop the case. Wait a minute. What's wrong with you? Why are you talking like that? Are you losing it? Come on to the hospital. Just come to the hospital. Because I don't know why I was thinking. They had me like the child and the kid in the plastic bubble. I couldn't leave the room. So I don't know. I'm telling him to come to the hospital like I could just leave and go see about it.
But I'm grateful that you even had the presence of mind to tell him to come and that, he listened. He said, however, well, we know the Holy Ghost got him there. That's how he got there.
Yeah.
Grateful that he heeded to that. And
yes, because he never listens to me. I'm so happy he listens.
Daryl, I don't know if you're listening today, but I'm glad you listened to me. All right. Oh my goodness. So let's see. Kenitra says you're a miracle. Praise God. Fight for the gift of life, Dr. Regina Brooks. Robin says, I was about to say the same thing. Stepped away from death to reach back, fight. Ooh, Jesus. Karen, we see you on. Thanks for watching. Robin says people are walking around asymptomatic and aren't even aware that they have it. This is why we must be careful. And if we can throw anything in and drive anything home today, we want to tell people to steal because it has not gone away. It's not, not existent now or what have you. We're talking about her situation, and I think you went into the hospital. You said on your husband's birthday. That was in March. Was it?
March the 21st.
March 21st. And technically, how long were you in there from the hospital? Because you didn't have to do rehab, like you mentioned, after that, right?
Yeah, I was in the hospital from March the 21st to April the 8th. And then went into rehab from April the 8th until April the 17th. It was either the 17th or the 18th. Okay. But that was more so my doing because I didn't want to come home by myself. Yeah. I don't want to come home by myself. And, my children, I got some fighters for some kids. God blessed me with two persistent human beings. Between Ryan and his, my daughter-in-law, staying on the doctors, and Alexis. Now this is the part. Oh God. Alexis had to be our voice. She had to make medical decisions that I don't think any child should have to make. They shouldn't have to make medical decisions. When my husband was when Daryl was getting ready to be intubated, because I couldn't make that decision because I was in the hospital myself. She's calling me mine and calling me, I don't even know what intubation is. I don't even think she called it that. She probably mispronounced it. But they're saying something about they got to put him on some type of breathing machine. And I don't know what to say. I said, tell them yes. And then they're calling her in regards to me. So she's back and forth trying to make decisions for her parents. And my son is 2 inches from coming to the hospital to beat up the doctors because he's feeling like they're not listening to him about my care, you know. So I've got these they're adults, but they still my babies, fighting just as hard as I'm in the inside fighting to breathe, to stay alive for them. It's 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 unreal. I can't even put words to some things. It's just unreal. And I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful to God that I survived. And you know, the reason why I probably was giving you such a hard time about not doing it because I felt like because I was a survivor. When back in March, everybody was dying. Everybody was dying. They weren't even talking about survivors. I was in that room for all those days because I was going back. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave the hospital not knowing, number one, I don't have it. You need to tell me for real, that I'm negative. Number two, you got to make sure that I have antibodies in my blood. And because now they've given you your full run, and at this time they're giving you your full run, and what they say medications, they want to kick you out. But now you still have to be quarantined. You still have to, even after the hospital, they want you to be quarantined for 14 days. Now that's 2 weeks they're telling me I can't walk because, like I said, this virus takes your energy, it depletes your muscle movement. I couldn't hold a pen. I couldn't hold a pen to even write my name. So that's where the rehab part came in. I had to learn how to do all of this all over again. I had to build my muscles. But I was so afraid of leaving the hospital and going to one of my children's houses. Now, Alexis was like, no, you coming to my house. I said, I'm not coming to your house with you and Shannon. I'm not doing that. Because if I'm still contagious, I'm not going to give this to you. Mind you coming to my house. So I got one for you. I'm going to do 14 days in this hospital. I'm going to do my quarantine in the hospital. I got to stay in this room anyway. Let me just stay here. Then, because I had to go to rehab, that was another additional week. Then I said, okay, now I need to do an additional 7 days here because I want to make sure I need 14 and 14. Henceforth, that was the link. I was demanding that, no, I need to know. I need to know for real. And even when I got to Lexi's house, she'll tell you, I didn't leave the room. I stayed in the room, afraid. Don't touch me. Don't touch that. Don't sit on my bed. Don't, move. I had her move everything out of the room. I got an air mattress. I got everything that I needed, and she doesn't even know this. I used 1 fork, 1 spoon, and 1 cup. And she's missing that 1 fork, that 1 spoon, and that 1 cup because when I got ready to leave her house, I threw it in the garbage.
You know what? I blame you because there's some individuals who actually had tested positive for it. Now, there's one as severe as yours where they had to stay in the hospital for days or whatever, and then rehab after that. But they were in the house, and because this thing it'll wreak havoc on your mind, on you psychologically.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the
yeah.
But I can understand. I'm saying that to say I can understand why you were like, don't touch this, get this out, let me only use this, because you're trying to be conscious of your family. You don't want anybody to live
Yeah.
what you just lived through, or worse. So I'm sure that was all in your mind,
Yeah.
mom. So I could fully understand that. Now we're gonna get to talking about that psychological part. Let me read a few more on here. Alexis joined us. Hey Alexis, thanks for watching. We our fighter. Nisha is on, and Jamal. Hey Tracy, thanks for watching. Apostle says both of your children are very strong. I can see that.
Yeah.
Dr. Regina says you got a story to tell, a lot, some things that I've been through, but you're healed. Oh, okay. Well, praise God, Dr. Regina.
Yeah. Let me tell you about her. She will call me. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just got to say this. Dr. Regina and I have been knowing each other since I can't even remember how old I was. That's how long we've been knowing each other. That's my sister. Okay. And she doesn't even know. She would call me on days that I couldn't talk. She would just call me. She would pray, and she did it every day. She never missed a day that I was at the hospital until I could talk back to her. I knew what she was doing. She didn't know that I knew she was doing what she was doing, but I knew what she was doing. She would call me and say, hey, and if I would give her because sometimes that was all I could say was, she'd say, okay, I just was calling you to check on you, and she'd hang up. Up until like around the day before I got ready to get out the hospital, I had full conversation for her. My aunt, the same way. My aunt made me, no, it was my daughter-in-law that made me get this duo on my phone, the old phone. Henceforth, my kids have got me this iPhone that I know nothing about. But made me get duo on my phone. So my aunt videoed me. She had to see me. Okay, you can't talk, but I need to see you. My sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, we got this thing, it's a seal. Sister-in-law, brother-in-law, Daryl's brother and his younger brother and his wife, they are beasts when it comes to reaching out to others and keeping stuff together. And, Daryl's mom and dad were in a tizzy. Both of us is at the hospital. We don't know, because she can't come to the hospital. They don't know what's going on. They're keeping Lexi sane and, keeping the parents sane and giving reports back. Kim would text me every morning until she would call me every morning. How's it going? How you doing? How you feeling? Can you talk? Do you feel like talking? So my team, so called the center, my team, yeah, them the strong ones. They carried us. They carried us, and I'm so I can't thank them enough for that. They carried us.
Yeah, I see some here. Let me see. Oh, Dr. Regina said, we prayed our way through this. Woo. I know you were going to make me, I'm the host. I know she was going to make me in tears.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. Buddy, I see you. Dr. Hill says, unfortunately, there were a lot of children and teens that had to care for their parents alone. And you know what? It's something you should actually say that, Dr. Hill, and then to hear your testimony, prophetess, because I wasn't even thinking in that respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This virus, this pandemic, it has wreaked havoc. And how did you describe it in the beginning? You said it's of the devil, and
yeah.
Amazing how it has affected so many different people in so many different ways. I wasn't even thinking about, the children that had to make decisions for their parents, like in
Yeah,
your situation.
it just brought me back. It brought me back to when my mom, I cared for my mom before she died. And it brought me back to, I'm an only child. I have no sisters and brothers. So I had to make decisions that almost 50 years old at the time she passed, I'm still not big enough for this. I'm not old enough for this. I don't want to make these decisions. I would call my aunt and say, no, I can't make the decision. And she says, niece, you got to make the call. And because I was fighting so for my mom, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna make that call. Of course not. You gonna put them paddles on her until she breathes again. I'm not helping you sign no papers telling me no resuscitation is the devil. I was ready to fight with that about my mom. So just thinking back, now they're doing the same thing for me. And they have to do the same thing. I'm like, oh my God.
Double.
Yeah.
I was only about your mom because that's how I was ready to make her transition. I was like, keep the machine on, no,
As long with it ain't nothing but electricity. Her insurance paying for it. You crazy.
Trust me, I have two other sisters, right? And I was the last one that was holding out. I literally had to. We were at the hospital, and they were like, "Okay, you got to make a decision because they need to." I'm like, "Leave her on there. What are we talking about? Hello, I was holding out."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Somebody had.
We know God. God could turn this around at the last minute. I don't know what you're talking about. And not even realizing that she was ready to go. She had told my aunt, "I'm sick of this." She had told my aunt, "I'm sick of this. I'm ready to go." Now, of course, if my aunt would have said that to me, I would have had an excuse for that. Oh, she's not talking to her right man. She ain't ready to go nowhere. She gonna stay here forever. I don't care.
Well, I think the kids' children are fighters. And they are very, very strong. And one of the things that I kept remembering that I heard a couple times was that your son was really your advocate when he was telling them to make sure that they pump you with that vitamin C. I saw you make talk about it, before, and I'm like, wow, that in itself is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes the doctors, they were like, I'm the doctor, let me do this or whatever.
Yeah, because the doctor came to the room and said that. He said that. Well, do you know Orion McGee? I said, yeah. I said, is he here? He says, no, but he's very, very adamant about us giving you vitamin C in an IV. Now, Ryan is like a health guru. He don't eat pork, that whole assalamu alaikum thing, you know what I'm saying. Anywho, he's not of that religion, thank you, Jesus, but he follows a lot of their ways of what they put in their body. And he was so adamant about that. And when I was coming back around, the fever had broke. Then now, okay, I call her my evangelist Hill. My evangelist Shirley Hill's teachings came back. And I said, okay, this is attacking my immune system. I have to attack it back. And just a plug out there for anybody, and I know she talks about it, listen to her. My teachings on what she's taught about the things that heal the body, the foods that heal the body, the foods that kill the body, and the various teachings under Dr. Hunt and Apostle Dion about fasting and consecrating your body. I shut everything down at the hospital. I said, don't bring me. Now, you're dealing with a virus. Your lungs is full of mucus. but you're sending me chicken Alfredo to eat, cream based soups, cream based foods. They don't know. They don't know, and I couldn't fault them. They're just trying to get me some food in me to get me up and moving around. But I'm not greedy. So I said, okay, oranges, natural vitamin C, pineapples, inflammatory deterrent, because my lungs are inflamed. I said, okay, I don't want you bringing me nothing else to eat. No food. For 2 weeks, Annette, for 2 weeks, 10 days, more probably longer than that. For 3 days, 3 meals, my 3 meals a day consisted of a plate of oranges, a plate of pineapple, honeydew melon, cantaloupe, warm water, green tea, lemons, honey. I laid there, and that's probably the reason why I couldn't walk. I had no muscle movement. But I tell you this, it flushed my body, and I started breathing. When I left the hospital, I didn't need the inhaler. I never needed an inhaler. I was on that albuterol pump at least 4 times a day, just trying to breathe. I had to fight. My body had to fight. The dietitian then comes up and says to me, because now they bring the foods in to you, whatever you don't eat, they have to throw it away. This Ensure they were giving me, this clear Ensure, the first 3 ingredients in it is sugar. That's going to tear my immune system down. Are you serious? You trying to kill me or you trying to get me well? What are we doing with it? So they leave and they say, okay, you want to take this with you? I said, no, let's stay in there. By the time I got ready to leave the hospital, I had about 4 cases of just Ensure Clear. I wasn't drinking that. I think when they're trying to kill me. You won't say I'm a COVID victim. I was like, no, I need you to listen to me. I got a rapport with the nurses. I had nurses bringing me my green tea. I had them bringing me whole lemons. I had them bringing me organic honey.
Wow.
So I'm grateful. I had a team some was a team in the hospital. But yeah, you gotta watch what you eat. You gotta watch what you ingest. And I said this to Apostle. I said, I kind of probably brought this on myself. I said, because I had got back into this rut, I was caring for the loved one. I wasn't eating properly. Between the business and there, I'm leaving. So the drive-thrus became my friend. McDonald's sweet tea, because I stopped drinking coffee, sugar rush, tearing my immune system down. I'm eating all this junk fatty foods and stuff like that. I made my immune system just wide open and said, welcome to whatever you want to give me. I'm here. Just come get me. And it got me. Yeah.
Stuff here. Even though I'm allowing the Lord allowed me to have this platform for you all to tell your about your journey, I wanted people to learn and understand too. Because what I'm hearing is that you have to take charge, of your body. So of course you prepare your body, you do whatever you can so that you won't get it. But if you do get it, I'm grateful. Again, I keep going back to your son. I'm grateful. And then as you started coming back this way, you were like, okay, this is what I need, da, 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 da. So you took charge. And what's going to have to happen. Don't just lay down there and die,
No.
Like you said, you reached back on the things that you were taught, even with Evangelist Hill. You were on there. And I'm telling y'all, this is a little side note. Every 4th Wednesday here on Mind, Body, and Soul, Dr. Hill is here, and she's informing us of what we need to do with our body. Do not tune her out. And aside from Mind, Body, and Soul, you can catch her doing her Facebook Live.
Yeah.
It's not holding back on any information. She is informing us. We got to take our health back. We got to do it, guys. We got to do it. And this is a prime example of what Prophet Yolanda's situation is a prime example. This is deep. Apostle Hunt says you were teaching them how to care for you.
Yeah. They try to kill me, Apostle.
And like the dietitian should know, but you have to be your own advocate. So this is good stuff. So I don't know if anybody is dealing with COVID on today. If you know anybody that's dealing with COVID, I mean, listen to these. Tag them in this live feed on today. I have another guest that's going to come up shortly. But Prophetess Rolanda she has shared with us. I told you he was going to be all right, didn't he?
Yeah.
You look like, and I don't know what baseball player used to say this. He said, "Let's play two." You look like you're ready to go for another round. You look like you're ready to go for another round. But I am so grateful that you have taken time to share your journey with us on today. You were in the hospital from March until May, and you were actually when you went in, those were the early stages of like doctors and medical kind of figuring stuff out. So you were kind of like in that, almost like in that testing phase there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you were early on there, so I'm grateful to God that He blessed you, prophetess. I really am. I truly am. My heart would have been hurt if I had heard something otherwise. But and I'm grateful also for your husband as well. So real quick as we wrap up, and he's doing good too. Your husband.
He is because he didn't. And I say this because I couldn't be advocate for you. When they started eating, when he started eating, that's when I kind of took over with his nurse. I said, no, don't give him any cream-based anything, but by him being intubated, he was in a self-induced coma. So he didn't have the whereabouts or the means to put the foods in his body that can clear up, his lungs and clear up the mucus and all of that. So he still has, respiratory issues. He still has respiratory issues. We're getting there. We're getting there. And this 90-degree weather makes you tend to want to drink colder liquids. I kind of forced him into drinking at least 2 hot teas with me, one at night, one in the morning. I still do it, just to keep my lungs clear.
Right.
Just jumping back to that, the mental state. I think I've developed anxiety. It makes you, I have anxiety attacks now because sometimes I'll think about, I'm about to put Lexi on blast. She picked up this extra job and she don't know she made me so mad. I'm so happy today she quit because she's putting herself out there in a public setting, although, she's taking all the precautions. She knows, it's a rhythm we have. No shoes in the house. When you get in the house, you take your clothes off, turn them inside out. Turn them inside out. You touch nothing until you hit the bathroom. Take a shower if you've been out all day. Wash your face, head to toe. You're touching nothing. And it's a whole mental thing. She don't know. All while she was at that other job, my heart is racing because I'm going, oh my God, what if somebody coughs on her clothes and she takes it to the car and Chandler gets the hold to this? And it's a step process. And it'll make you think that you've contracted it all over again because anxiety, it affects your breathing. So now I'm wheezing. I'm like, okay, now I got to find the help. And then I have to go back and say, the devil, I made my doctor test me again. I done had so many tests. I'm the one using up all the tests from everybody. Because I made him test me again. And got my results. You still negative. You yet still have antibodies. We're not testing you no more, so don't ask me. And not realizing it was anxiety. I still have anxiety. And I'll be so happy when God say, okay, or better yet, not even when God say, we get ourselves together so God can say, I'm putting my hands on this, I'm going to release it off of it. Yeah, because he got to put his hands on this.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? You explained that very well about the psychological part because I can see that. I can understand. You know, if you've been in a situation like you were in, like your husband was in, it can have some kind of effects. You know,
Mhm.
doing all those tests, constantly testing yourself kind of helps alleviate, a little bit in your mind. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. I totally understand. I really do. But Providence Rolanda, oh my goodness, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
If you're back at work, I want you to pace yourself.
I am, and now I'm looking like the nurses. I'm all in a hazmat suit doing my clients. I don't care because you don't know.
Don't know.
You don't know.
Someone asked a question on the live feed earlier about reinfection. Does anybody know about are you able to be reinfected or not? So that's my question. I want to know because I know so many have been infected, but they've been healed of it. But and then sometimes when you hear that question, like I think it's GMA, they'll ask some of the doctors the question. They're like, "Well, everything is still. We don't know exactly." They don't know. They don't know.
They don't.
So you just do all you can to protect yourself and your loved ones. And I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate what you're doing to do that. So again, thank you again. My love to your husband, your family, Alexis, your son and daughter-in-law,
Thank you.
both that were there for your team inside and out, as you say. So
Yeah.
we're grateful that you are still here. And you look wonderful. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But thanks again. So as we're gonna segue, guys. I don't want anybody to don't go anywhere. We have another guest that we're gonna bring on, and yeah, she was an amazing guest, Brandy. I agree. I agree. I may have to get you to come back. We have to get you to come back and talk a little bit more. I know you mentioned about another individual that you know very well that the Lord blessed them to come out of it as well.
Yeah, my landlord.
Yes, yes. Well, that's beautiful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I don't even know.
90 years old.
90. Wow.
He's 90 years old.
See there, God is still blessing. He's still
Yeah.
blessing. He can bring us out of this if we do what we need to do and put our trust and hope and faith in Him. So again, Prophet, all right, I'm gonna get out of here. Get
Okay.
my big kisses, smooches, big hugs. I love you so much.
I love you too.
All right. You take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, guys, my listeners, my viewers, I appreciate all of you on today. I'm gonna actually stay and admit my next guest. This is a little different that we're doing here since we are doing everything virtually. But I have my second guest that we are going to present today. If you look on the screen, you will see a gorgeous woman of God. Listen, let me say this real quick. I'm ready to throw in something. I think your dad and your mom are watching, but Pastor Woodard and Lady Beverly, you all have some beautiful children. I just want you to know that.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful young lady. And then I'm looking at them grandkids too, just absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
I just want to throw that out there.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing
good.
Good. Hey guys, so I have my second guest on, Jasmine Woodard Jones. She hyphenates on Facebook. I'm going to read a little bit of her bio because she's going to talk about her experience with COVID. She is a wife. She is a mother of four now, and a registered nurse. She's a registered nurse from Indianapolis, Indiana. She is married to Jonathan Jones.
Yes.
Her children are Jackson, Lavender, Hezekiah, and please pronounce the last one for me.
Nevaeh.
I didn't want to butcher it. I have a fear about butchering names. Nevaeh. And that's heaven backwards?
Yes, and I gave her that name because she came out breech. She came out feet first. So it's heaven backwards.
There you go. Makes sense to me. So it says here that her family is the most important thing to her.
Yes.
Been a nurse for 4 years
Yes.
and currently works on a medical surgical floor. She enjoys her career and believes wholeheartedly that becoming a nurse was her purpose. Jasmine is also the founder and creator of Pretty Practice, which
Mhm.
was created to unite women in healthcare. I love
Yes.
it. I love
Yes.
it. It says their goal is to inspire, empower, uplift, and mentor one another in and out of their professional lives. Pretty Practice bridges the gap for women in healthcare that come from all different walks of life. They promote
Mhm.
diversity, self care, furthering education, and they're also a catalyst for networking and encouraging others to be there for one another.
Yes.
Want to ensure all women, regardless of race and ethnicity, they're supported through this organization. Her motto, I like this. When you look good, you feel good, and you do good.
That's right.
She believes the care you give to yourself is just as important as the care that they give their patients. Her mission in life is driven by the love and the service that she humbly gives to God and serving His people. Welcome again to Mind, Body, and Soul, Jasmine.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. I am so glad. You're actually, when I initially thought, there were two people when the Lord gave me to do this segment that
Hmm.
Rolanda, the prophetess that I just had on, and someone else mentioned your name to me. And I said, oh my God, that's right. Because I had heard about your situation.
Yes.
So that's why you two are kind of kicking this off for Mind, Body, and Soul. But
Good.
we want to jump right in if we can, because we all know that an hour can go by so fast.
Yes.
Jump right in and talk to you about your journey with dealing with being positive for COVID, and how it affected you. And then, of course, you share with my listeners the
Hmm.
state that you were in when you were diagnosed with being positive with COVID-19.
Right. So let me just start off by saying, it is a blessing to be here, and it certainly was an experience going through that. I have never experienced anything like that in my life. I kind of tease my family because back in 2016, when I first became a nurse, that year was really pivotal in my life because I became a nurse, a mom, a wife, all that in 1 year, and started a new job as a nurse. But dealing with this here in 2020 has really transformed my life and really my outlook on life and what I think about, others being in the field of healthcare. So 2016 was a big year for me, but I think this year has been even bigger. Um, Going through that experience, having the COVID and pregnant with twins. When I found out, it was March 18th. That day I was at work. I was working on not my normal floor, but I had floated to a different floor. And mid shift, I work a 12-hour shift. But in the middle of the shift, I just all of a sudden fell ill. Um, I started having chills. Um, I had a little bit of a cough. And I just, I'm like, maybe it's the pregnancy. Maybe I've overworked myself today and I just need to go home and rest. I talked to the supervisor who was there and I said, hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm not really sure, what's going on. But she said, with these new regulations of COVID, you need to go home right away. We can't keep you here. And I said, okay, I'll just, go home, rest, sleep it off, and come back to work tomorrow. But when I got home, my symptoms started to gradually get worse. And it was just kind of unexplainable. I really thought I had the flu. I'm like, maybe I've calmed down with the flu, because I had those flu-like symptoms. But that night, which was a Wednesday, I just was like, oh my goodness, something's wrong. Something is off. When I went home, my mom was here with my kids, and she was saying, the kids have fevers as well. And I said, what? I said, oh, I've given them something, and I felt awful. But like I said, that night I tried to rest, sleep it off. When I got up Thursday, I said, something is not right. I was having, shortness of breath. I was sweating. I had lost taste and sense of smell. Something was really going on. I said, Mom, with me being pregnant, I should probably go to the ER if I'm not better by the end of the day. So Friday, I went to the ER, and they said, with the COVID regulations, we're going to have to isolate you. What are you feeling? And I said, I'm just, feeling sick. But with me being pregnant, I felt urgent enough to come to the ER. And I said, I'm also a nurse. And they said, oh, you're a nurse? So they're like, well, we need to test you for the COVID. And I'm like, there's no way I have the COVID, but I understand policy, go ahead. And so sure enough, they gave me the swab, the god awful swab. Oh my gosh, that swab was brutal. And 2 days later, which was Sunday morning, they called me first thing around 6 a.m. and they told me, you're positive for COVID-19. And I said, there's no way. Initially, I had just started crying. I was in bed with my husband, and he was like, it's going to be okay. And I said, I've given, all of you all the COVID. That's why we're all sick. So I was crying and crying and crying. And then I called my parents and I was like, I tested positive for COVID. And they were just as in shock as I was. I mean, we were pretty, in shock, like, oh my gosh, you have the COVID. Because at that time it was still new. I was actually one of the first few cases here in Indiana. So it was pretty scary because my symptoms were getting worse. I wasn't getting better when I found out. And I'm like, I don't know what it's going to look like for me in the next few days to come. But, thankfully I had my mom who just, really stepped right in and became all of our caregivers. So,
yeah.
But
now let me ask you, how far along were you when this happened?
When I found out, I was 28 weeks pregnant with the twins.
Okay. All right. And so you're thinking you gave everybody else. Now, was your husband exhibiting any kind of symptoms?
He did a couple days after I did. Yeah.
Okay. Woo. All right. So now, did you go to your hospital when you went to go and, because you said if you weren't feeling good by a certain time, you were going to go and get checked out?
No, I did not. No, I went to a different hospital.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And
yeah.
So tell me, so somebody says that swab is the devil.
That swab is the devil. I've been swabbed 3 times now. It's awful. It's awful. I cried every time.
Wait, is that the one where is it the nose or the?
I had the nasal swab. I believe there's the oral swab now, but I had the nasal swab, and it is awful. Never felt anything like that.
Oh my God. And so I can imagine being 28 weeks along, because you're already, when you're expecting, you're already conscious of your child. You want everything to go well. You don't be looking for anything, outside of
right.
Go through these 9 months and have this baby, So I can only imagine what that was, doing to you, psychologically. I'm caring for twins, and I have 2 other ones here as well.
Right. Exactly.
You mentioned your mom and her hopping in like Superwoman, and
she is Superwoman.
I would see her on her live feeds, and every once in a while, she'll do her encouragements, but then she'll pray for Jasmine, pray for the babies, and I'm like, oh God, please. So I can only imagine what that was like during the time when COVID really came out, or when we were told about it. I have a niece she was expecting, and she actually had a dream. I hope I'm not telling too much of her business, but she had a dream that she had tested positive. And then, now she also has a daughter as well, and she dreamt that the daughter tested positive. So we had been praying and everything, and thank God she didn't get it. She delivered the baby.
Good.
It's been a month now. So she didn't get anything. So it was in that I was thinking, I can only imagine how those who are expecting are feeling during this whole time of this pandemic. I can just imagine carrying a child during this time, what that would do to you. So,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts and everything? What all you had to go through after you found out that you had tested positive?
Right. So when I found out, we were pretty much, well, I was one of the first cases here in Indiana. Like I said, they were really only testing healthcare workers at that time. So when I found out that I had it, it really took us all by surprise. And it was kind of like, okay, what do we do? Because there's still a lot of unknown about the virus. We don't know, the transmission, or, who can it kill, who can it affect the most. So we really didn't know a lot about it. We just kind of saw and heard about it on the news, and, we were taking the necessary precautions at the hospital, like screening people when they first come in. But other than that, we weren't really too concerned because, we were told don't be concerned. But so when I found out that I had it, it was just like, oh my goodness. We need to do something. My mom, she was doing her best, doing research, kind of staying up to date with what the CDC was recommending as far as care. But really all they told us to do was quarantine, for those 14 days. Which we did. We were so sick, we couldn't do much else. But for those 14 days, we quarantined. But it took me actually a good month to feel better. Even now, I still don't have my taste and my sense of smell. But it took a good month to really recover and feel some type of normalcy. But I was also pregnant. So I wasn't going to get too much better because I had these twins on board. And I know another concern of mine was my daughter. Earlier that month, I had found out that she had heterotaxy syndrome. And with me having the COVID, I didn't know how that would affect both babies, but specifically her. What does that look like? Is this transmitted from mother to baby? So that was pretty scary, in that sense. So, yeah, my concern was really just the health of my babies. I knew in my heart that I was going to be okay. I firm believer in that the Lord was going to bring me and all of my family members through it. But my concern was the babies. They pretty much scared me. The doctors did, when they said that with me having this virus, that it could mean she could come out, stillbirth. I mean, they were saying all kinds of crazy things. So my concern was really the babies. I wasn't really worried about myself. It was hard dealing with it. It was hard on the body, not being able to eat, smell, just not feeling well. I wasn't able to get out of bed for about 9 days. So it was pretty scary. But my real concern was my babies. What does this mean for them? What are they going to look like, when they come out? So I really was holding my breath up until I gave birth to them. And when I saw them alive, breathing, that just meant the world to me. I knew God was right there at that time.
Yeah, yeah. What were you eating during that time?
Nothing.
Really?
Me and my mother, we bumped heads multiple times. She was like, "Yes, we have to eat. You're pregnant." I just couldn't. It was like a metal taste in my mouth. I could not eat. I could not drink. It was awful. It was awful. I don't wish that on anyone.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sure with the insistence of your mother, she got something in you at some
Oh
point.
yeah, she yeah, she did her best, but we were going at it. I said, "Mom, I can't do it." She was like, "You have to." She's like, "I'm not thinking about you. I'm thinking about my grandbabies." I said, "Okay."
Like, well, what about me?
Right. So this is not about you. You have those babies to think about.
I get it. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Let me read some comments from Facebook Live. But this is
Okay.
interesting. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I think they're talking about, oh, that, yeah, the nasal swab. Demetra says it feels like they are trying to take your eyes out through your nose.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
And somebody responded, Robin responded and said, exactly. It brought tears to my eyes. I had to sit for a while before I even stood up. I can just only imagine. And then you extra. You had two human beings on the inside of you going through that. My God.
Yeah, so the last time I was actually swabbed, the third time I was in labor. I was 8 centimeters dilated and contracting every 2 minutes when they swabbed me at the hospital.
Oh,
I said, you have to do this right now. Like right now, I'm getting ready to have these babies and you're getting ready to swab me. They were like, it's protocol and you had the virus. And I said, no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I think I just felt that. Whoa, that is deep.
Yes.
Now, I do want to ask you about, okay, so now by the time you delivered, were you still, I know they took that last swab.
Yes.
What did that come back as?
It came back as negative. And thank God, because I was allowed to have my husband there when I delivered. Yes.
Yeah. And I know that's also been another concern for expectant mothers wanting significant other spouses, whatever, to be in the room with them. And I know that some hospitals weren't allowing that.
Correct.
I'm grateful that he was able to be in there with you as well. Brandy says here, oh my God, it's one thing to worry about your own life, but to be going through this and have to be concerned about your unborn child. She said she is a warrior. And I second that motion. Let's see. Other comments here. Leanna says Sister Beverly Woodard was definitely being a nurse for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
God was with you while you were helping your family, and that's love. And your mom says here, Dr. Shirley Hill really gave me insight on how to care for my family.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to hear that, because you can use your resources. Individuals like I lean heavily on Dr. Hill.
Yes. So does my mother.
Exactly. And so knowing that and understanding, this is how the Lord can help you to get through different things. And hey, take advantage of it. Eric, I see you on. Alexis is still watching. Thank you so much. There are others, and I'm so sorry if I didn't get a chance to call your name. Is it Mika Kincaid? I think that's okay. Thank you for watching. Vanessa, I see you on. And Tamara, I probably should be putting my other eyes on to help me out with this. Let's see here. That's my daughter's middle name. Okay. Oh, maybe your middle name is her daughter's middle name. You guys, I'm scrolling back up, and so there are some comments that I actually have kind of missed. So I'm just trying to go through them real quick. I did see Dr. Woodard is on. Thank you so much, sir, for watching and supporting us on today. And I see Rolanda, the previous guest, is on watching as well. So if you guys have any questions for our second guest here, you can throw them in the comments section. And I do appreciate all your comments that you are giving on today. Demetra says here, Dr. Shirley Hill was a blessing for us all during that time. And if not for her, then she would still have that fever. And I know that there are some of you that dealt with COVID yourself. Some of you were asymptomatic. Some of you did not deal with being laid up in the hospital for so long or what have you, but you still dealt with the positive result of having COVID. And, I thought your story was very different, very unique, Jasmine. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have a YouTube channel where you kind of talked about your journey?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, I do.
Okay. Maybe kind of tell us a little bit about that, because I'm sure over there that you've helped some individuals out, whether they are expecting or their loved ones are expecting, even in how to deal with, the COVID. And you're a nurse, so maybe you can also give us some tips as well on what we need to, look out for, be careful of, because, and I stated in the earlier segment, COVID hasn't gone anywhere. It's still here. And I think people think because the summer is here, the weather is nice, it's not that bad. So maybe start with your YouTube channel, talk to us about that, and then kind of maybe from a nurse's perspective,
Mhm.
your story, and then what we need to watch out for ourselves.
Okay. Yeah. So my YouTube channel, I haven't been consistent with it. I'll say that up until now, where I think it's very important that I share my story. I'm always asked these questions about, my life, being a mother, being a wife, having 4 children, being a nurse, how to balance it all. So I said, you know what? This year I am going to dedicate myself to YouTube so I can answer all these questions on this platform and really be an inspiration to other young mothers, nurses. I think I cater to a lot of different women. I have a lot to offer. So I thought, YouTube would be the best way to do that. And actually, get it. I actually find joy in doing that. It's kind of a release, just kind of being natural in front of the camera and talking and sharing my life with others. I don't hide it. I think it's a blessing to be where I am, being that I am a nurse, a wife, and a mom, and I want to share that with others. So that's really why, I got into the YouTube, and I'm consistent with it now. So definitely check me out on YouTube. My name is Jasmine Marie. I actually just uploaded a couple of videos a couple of days ago. So please do follow me there on YouTube. But yeah, my story doesn't end here. I'll say that COVID-19 hasn't gone anywhere. I do see a lot of people living their best life because, it is the summertime, but COVID hasn't gone anywhere. And I hope the public really takes the virus serious so we really can get the virus under control and stop the spread. They did say that there is supposed to be a second wave come the fall, and our hospital, from what I'm being told, is preparing for that second wave. So please, be mindful of where you are and what you're doing. If you can stay home, then stay home. We don't have a vaccine yet. So transmission is, it's real. You have to be mindful of washing your hands. If you have a mask, wear a mask. People think it's silly. The mask is not necessarily to stop you from getting the COVID, but it will help you from giving it to, someone else, because there are those who are asymptomatic. And I think my mother was asymptomatic. Our entire family had it. And the fact that she didn't experience one symptom is God. But, maybe, there's a possibility that she did have it and she was just asymptomatic. We don't know the true transmission of the virus. So please be mindful of where you are, what you're doing. Keep washing your hands wherever you are, and wear a mask if you can. For me, I do have my 4 little ones. I have to go back to work shortly in a couple of weeks here. So, like I said, my story doesn't end here. I still have to go back onto the front line and work and serve, these people. So do it for me and, be safe, stay home, and, follow the regulations that the CDC gives.
Yeah. And that's good. That's very good advice, especially from your profession in your professional level. Now, quick question. I don't know if we asked this or not, but you had been still working before you found out you were tested positive, right? How long?
Yes.
Okay, so you were basically still on the front lines.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And
yeah, I worked up until, with my first 2 children, I worked that Wednesday, and all my children were born on Thursday, surprisingly. But I worked up until, and that was my plan, even though I was having twins, was to work up until. But when I found out that I had the COVID, there was just no way. I became so weak. I even became anemic. I needed iron transfusion, and I also developed gestational diabetes, which I didn't experience with my first 2 pregnancies. I'm not saying that the COVID caused it, but my OBGYN did let me know that there's a high chance that because I had the COVID, I developed these other 2 issues.
Okay. So there were other things that were going on. Well, yeah.
Right.
This is something you have a lot to deal with. Guys, I hope you're listening to her. She's telling us what to do, with our bodies and making sure we wear those masks. I just did a YouTube video. I said, I know y'all don't want to wear these masks, but put them on. Put them on.
Yeah.
Think of it like it's an investment, like you're making a payment on your car. It's an investment. You have
Right.
to ensure that you and your loved ones are, taken care of. And so it is with the mask. That's why I said look at it like that. I know, it's kind of inconvenient. You don't want to do it, but it's a must. It really is. And I think some people kind of go to the extreme. They feel that if somebody's constantly telling me to wear a mask, that I'm not in control of my own body. Well, don't do that.
That's a selfish way to think. It's not about you. It's about someone else. And just think about if it was your grandmother, your grandfather, or a loved one or a friend in that position. I've heard the stories. I haven't been there because again, I've been off work. But I've heard stories from other nurses say it's a sad thing to see these people dying from the COVID, having no one at their bedside because they can't have any visitors. Unexpectedly coming down with this virus, being admitted, the whole process from coming in to them dying. It's awful. And so, you just have to step outside of yourself and think about someone else.
I love it. You said a word there. You really did. Okay, there was a question that was on the floor. Tamara says, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, as a nurse, will you have to care for COVID-19 patients again? Or did you?
So since I've been off work, I now have a new manager. I now have a new schedule, and I'm being placed on another floor. There has been drastic changes at my hospital since I've been off work. So when I return to work, I will be in an area where COVID patients will be. So yes.
Okay, do you have any concerns about that yourself?
I do. Just because there's still a lot of unknown. We don't know everything about COVID-19. They first came out and said, it only affects the elderly. But we've seen firsthand, young, old, middle-aged have died from the virus. So just like you can catch the flu again, I'm sure you can catch COVID-19 again. So yeah, there is a big concern with me going back. My mother's concerned. My entire family is truly concerned. So we're definitely going to have to implement some type of schedule or routine, something here in my household for what we're going to do and what it should look like when I go to work and come home. Right. So there's a big concern, which is why I'm saying, as a nurse, please wash your hands, wear a mask. If you can stay home, stay home. It's small, but it's important. So it's a big worry, but I'm trying to woosah a little bit and, pray and just have faith that God's going to keep protecting me and protecting my family when I do go back.
Right. I mean, because it's not like I have seen some nurses and doctors or what have you. They'll every once in a while, maybe like on Good Morning America, they'll highlight different ones who they don't go back home. They stay in a hotel or someplace near the hospital because they don't want to bring anything back home to their family. But you can't do that. You got 2 new babies.
Yeah, and oddly enough, people ask me all the time, what should I do? I always have these women ask me, what should I do when I go home? And I feel awful because when I caught it, it took us by surprise. It was just like, they said, did you separate yourself from your kids? And I'm like, no, my kids had it. Thankfully, we all recovered, but we all had it. So there was no plan. I couldn't prepare myself or my family as to what to do when we caught it, because when we found out, we had all had it.
At that time, right? Wow. Ooh, okay. Let's see. All right. I think someone asked the question if you're going to return to work, so she answered that already.
Yeah.
Another question here. Were your older daughter and son affected during the illness of Jess?
Yes.
Yes. She answered that question as well. Again, guys, I'm scrolling up. Yeah, your mom said she was asymptomatic. She made that comment. Okay. Let's see. Another question here. How would Mrs. Woodard advise relatives who are caring for those suffering from COVID? And what measures did you take to stay safe and uninfected?
Um, so my mother.
Well, you know what? I'm assuming, let's see, hang on. Brandy, can you clarify this? If this is for my guest, Jasmine, or her mother, Lady Beverly? Because this question here says, how would you advise relatives who are carrying? Oh, maybe she's probably referring to your mother. But if you can clarify that question for me, Brandy, before we go further on that. Yeah, it sounds like she is talking to your mother. Like, what measures does she take to stay safe and uninfected?
Yeah, because I'm sure she could write a book. I mean, she has been, she is the little COVID warrior. But a lot of what she did came from Dr. Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. And your father says, Dr. Woodard says, the second wave has hit Florida already. I think I heard.
The virus hasn't gone anywhere. And I pray people take it seriously. You know, they don't want to take it serious till it hits close to home. You know, if a family member gets it or they get it, but you know, take it serious. When I had it, I said to myself, you know, I really see why people are dying from this. This is hard. It's hard on the body. And you know, with the flu, you know, you start to feel better a few days later. But with that COVID-19, I'm just like, when is this over? At what point do we get to feel better?
Right.
I couldn't eat, couldn't drink, you know, just the sweating, that god awful headache that wouldn't go away. It was an awful experience.
Oh, I can only imagine. And again, you had a double whammy.
Yeah.
Vanessa says here, I heard that it's airborne, so we all need to have to be careful. You know, there's speculation about that. I think I even saw a report about it being airborne. What do you know about that?
It's like I said, it's speculation is what it is. And it's hard to really say, because to see how sick we all were, and then my mother walking around here like, I'm fine. It was like, something's off. Something is wrong. You can definitely tell if this is a man-made virus, because it's not hitting everyone the same. Some people have the GI issues. Some people have the respiratory issues. It just depends on who. And you can't really pinpoint to say it's the elderly, it's the middle age, or it's the young class, because every age group has died from it. So to me, it's all speculation, but I do agree that it's probably airborne.
Mm-hmm.
To some degree, yeah.
I can kind of see that as well. Dr. Hill says here, you must prepare the body before so we can be COVID free. And I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And she's actually been teaching a whole lot lately, actually for the past, it's almost 3 months. She said we had 3 months to prepare, and they were talking about before this next wave comes through, to prepare our bodies. So if any of you, and I'm doing all kind of shout outs today and doing plugs, so you have to go to Dr. Hill's page, because she's been really instructing us on what we need to do, and what goes into our bodies is so important. What we consume is so important. So, and I know that a lot of people are concerned. They are concerned, whether their loved one had it. And then unfortunately, there are some that have lost loved ones to this, to this virus. So there's so many questions, that we all have. So this is please take heed to what you're hearing on today, guys. Please take heed. We have a medical professional in the house, a nurse, and she's also talking from her own experience on today. Lady Beverly says a change of diet as well will help. And Carolyn says here, make sure when one is viewing, she's talking about your YouTube channel, to look for Jasmine Marie. Yeah. Jasmine Marie are in the end. Is that what your YouTube channel is under? Is it?
Yes, it should pop up Jasmine Marie, but yes, RNBSN.
Okay, because she's saying that there are a lot of Jasmine Maries on YouTube.
Oh.
They want to make sure that they're getting the right one.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you
Please.
for your Carolyn. We appreciate that. So yes, make sure you guys go and check out her YouTube. She's doing great things. Dr. Wood says, build your immune system. You have to play defense and offense to win a game. I like that. I agree.
I agree with that.
Buddy says here, I am still amazed at the level of denial in our society about this virus. Me too. He says, I get people want to go back to their normal lives, but that is history. And that's something to touch on too, Jasmine. It's almost like, what is going to be our normal? I mean, you know what I mean? Is this our new normal now, if you will? You know, the wearing of masks and the, making sure that we are, you should be washing your hands anyway, but, making sure when you're going out that you're not, touching anything and exposing yourself or your loved ones. What do you think about this new normal that we're in now?
I just think God has pushed us into this place, this uncomfortable place. And he's really trying to get us to open our eyes to him. I don't think we're going to have go back to the way we were. Even with the vaccine, I'm not sure that, we need to stop wearing masks or that we're fully protected, because a lot of people are in denial. And unless this vaccine is made, unless we're forced to get this vaccine, there is no normal. I think we're in this place now. We have to accept it. And it's really God saying, this is my time to talk. This is my time to take, my rightful place. Turn off the TVs, look to me. He's closed down everything. And I really just think we need to refocus ourselves on him, because, he deserves the glory. So I don't think, I think this is just where we are. And I think we have to accept it. Definitely, keep washing your hands. But I think the whole wearing of the mask, I think that's where we're at. Of course, most people aren't going to do it, but I think this is just God paving that way to come back. He's on his way, and I think we need to be ready.
Now you know who you sounding like right now, right? You sound like your father.
I think we're just here in this. It's uncomfortable, We're suffering financially with the loss of our jobs, loss of our businesses. Sports has been cut off, which, most Americans love. So I just think we're in this place now. We need to accept it and look at the bigger picture. And for those who aren't Christians, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to them. They don't know what's going on. They're afraid. They don't know what to do. So as a Christian and having that background and really believing wholeheartedly in God, I know that this is him. This is him talking, and we need to listen.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for that. But I said that you sound like your dad because he opened up my eyes to a lot of stuff when I had him on my show talking about it. And now this was, we had just started with this COVID, I think, when I had him on. But yeah, it's something. I do believe that God is trying to get our attention. I mean, why else would he shut down everything else? Basically,
he shut it all down.
Listen to me, what he's trying to say. Let's see. Demetra says Beatrice Carter is in Texas, and they're experiencing a serious uptick in numbers as well.
Yes,
I've heard that. I've heard Florida, Texas. Well, here in Illinois, or the city of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, she put that thing into effect on this past Monday. If you came from any of the southern states on this past Monday, then you need to be in quarantine for like 14 days. Now, I don't know how many people are going to do it, but I'm sure she's looking at those numbers, in those various states. The uptick is rising, whether they want to let you know about it or not. But it's like people, I don't know, maybe they had cabin fever or something, and they just want to hurry up and get out. But
I don't think they should open the states back up. It really didn't make any sense to, halfway close and then, open up in sections. I really didn't understand that. And that's just from a nurse's standpoint, because we're in the hospital, 24/7. We see what it's really like. It didn't make sense for them to open it back up. There's no vaccine yet. So why open it back up yet? For the comfort of people, for the cabin fever that people were experiencing. It didn't make sense to me to open back up. But I know the concern was the economy, and what was going to happen after that. But it didn't make sense to me.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Because, like you said, and even from your standpoint, I'm like, okay, because they're in the hospital. Maybe y'all should talk to them first and then, you know what I'm saying?
People don't really understand until they're in that position. So they have a loved one who's in the hospital and is alone by themselves and, has to die alone or something like that. They're not going to take it serious until it hits them.
Very true. I agree. And it's something. A lot of people have lost loved ones that they weren't able to be by their side. I know a few.
Oh, yeah.
That were even in our congregation who lost their loved ones. They weren't able to be with them. And, my heart just broke for them, because they probably never imagined that this is how I would lose my loved one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's something to take seriously. It really is.
And it's killing African Americans at a rapid rate. We're at the top.
Yeah.
Which makes me think a lot of it is diet. It's what we're eating. Because I'm like, why is it killing African Americans the most? It's what we eat.
Mm-hmm. What we consume and what we do to our bodies.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Let's see. Dr. Woodard says, I agree, wearing a mask will not end the coronavirus and it will not prevent you from coming in contact with the virus.
Right.
It will prevent you from passing your respiratory droppings. It can't hurt.
Right. Yeah, it's not necessarily to stop you from getting it, but it's to stop you from passing it on to someone else. Yeah.
Right. And I think people also have an issue with that because they don't want to feel that they are that they could infect somebody else. You know what I mean? So if I'm putting on this mask, this is telling you it's a possibility that I can infect somebody else, which means I might have something. So their mind won't even take them there. You know what I mean? So people are just like, nope, I don't want to do it. You've seen it on the news. I've seen it on social media where people are just kind of like going wild and spitting all on people and doing things, just crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know there should be more training. I think if our new normal is going to be wearing these masks, then there should be more information on how to wear it and when to put it on in public. It's not adjusting it. That don't touch the mask, while you're out. When you put it on, put it on before you leave the house and do not remove it until you return home. So that's a lot of part of it has to deal with why they're saying it's not truly effective. It's because people are doing this in public. They're, touching their face and then putting it back on. They're taking a break. So that has a lot to do with why it's not as effective.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Those are good points. Well, what do you think about this? And this is just my question to you. When you're out exercising, now that you're able to go out exercising, like I go walking on the trail, you're going out because you're trying to get fresh air,
right.
And exercising outside. So would you recommend people to use them while they're exercising, the mask, or what do you think?
That's a really good question. And I didn't even think about that. If you're going out to exercise.
My mentality now, what I do, I try to go out when I know that there's not a lot of people on.
Exactly.
So with that, if there are not a lot of people on the track, I won't have it on. But I have it with me just in case somebody comes, and I'm throwing that mask on. But, I don't know how effective that will still be. Like you're saying, you really shouldn't be touching the mask. So I don't know. I mean, it's almost like a catch-22, right?
It is. I think if you're going to be alone and you're going to an isolated area, if you're going to exercise alone and be alone in an isolated area. Don't go to a park where everyone and their cousin is going to be there having a good old time. If you're truly alone and you know you're alone, I think you're safe to not have a mask on. But like you said, have that with you. And if you do come in contact or in close proximity with someone else, put it on and leave it on. Do not adjust it. Wait till you get back home. And also have, some hand sanitizer with you when you do that.
Yes. Okay. Good advice. Thank you. I will take heed to that. I think I've got on the right track with that, but I want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Ooh, my goodness, you guys are all on here. I do appreciate you. Rolanda says, I was terrified about going back to work, and she says she's praying for you. Because you mentioned about what you have to do when you go back, you're in a different school and all of that. I'm praying for you as well.
Thank you. Yes, I will be on the COVID floor.
Yeah, yeah. I can only imagine. You don't want to be reinfected or bring back anything home to your family as well. So let's see. Hey, Lasagna, I see you on. She says, I think companies should have a clause where employees previously infected should not have to be forced in that same environment and give different jobs or be allowed to work from home. What about the post-trauma from having COVID too? I can't imagine the anxiety. That's it.
And you know what? A lot of people don't talk about that, but that is very real and it is very true. It's the trauma after having it, having to deal with work. Being nurses have lost their jobs because of the COVID, because they didn't have enough time. They forced us to go home. If you've been exposed or if you have it, stay home for the 14 days. If you don't have enough time, sorry about your luck. You can no longer work here. So it's the concern, with work. It's the concern, with finances, with me being pregnant. It's really the mental recovering from it. What does it look like and how you really feel after having the COVID? When they found out that I had the COVID, they canceled all my OBGYN. My OBGYN canceled all my appointments. All my prenatal appointments were canceled, and I was devastated. I'm like, I am in my third trimester with twins, and you all don't want to see me. That is unbelievable.
So what happened?
That was so traumatic for me. I was in tears about that the most. Just not being able to know what was going on with my daughter because she has the heterotaxy syndrome. And they canceled my appointments, which was unbelievable to me, but they did. And I said, we don't want to see you for 14 days. And after that, we'll just make your appointments virtual. And I said, how can you know what's going on with me virtually? I'm just like, I'm pregnant here. But those were the rules and those were the regulations. And I said, well, I'm getting ready to have these twins. We don't have a birthing plan set up, and you all don't want to see me. I guess we're just going to have to wing it. And that's kind of what happened. I went into labor at one of my appointments at the end. After I had tested negative, they felt like, okay, we really do need to see this girl. She's getting ready to have these babies and we don't have a plan set up. So they did eventually want to see me, but it was not till the very end. And then I went into labor unexpectedly and was rushed off. I was by myself. I was freaking out. They're like, we need to go ahead and swab you again. And I said, oh my goodness, I'm getting ready to push these babies out. You all want to swab me. So it was a big ordeal, but they don't talk about the trauma mentally and emotionally after dealing with it.
Hey, Jeff, your video just went out.
Uh-oh.
Okay, guys. Wow. I don't know. I think she's going to come back in. I don't know what happened. Technology. So let's see here. I see you guys, and I appreciate all of you that have been on here who've been commenting. I'm trying to let her come in so that she can finish what she was saying. And I think I have her back. She's connecting to audio.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did that.
That's okay. Technology.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did that.
Okay.
But yeah, I wish people would talk about it. It's not just something you get over and you move on. It's a traumatic experience, not knowing if you're going to be okay, not knowing what's going to happen next, not knowing if you're going to lose your job or not. It's very hard mentally. It was hard physically, yes. But the mental I felt was much more worse.
I can only imagine. Oh, and I can't even fathom. I really can't. Oh, what you deal with, my God, my God. We know that God is the one that brought you through, and the prayers and your mom. We appreciate. Now, see, Lady Beverly, I know you know this. If you're still on here, you couldn't get sick. You couldn't because you had too much going on around you. The Lord knew that, or you had to be that remnant.
To this day, I don't understand. We were very ill. My father felt like he was going to die. And the fact that my mother didn't experience one symptom is like, God is real. She was the one who took care of us. She went to the store on a daily basis for us. I mean, she really put herself out there. She never was once concerned about herself. Not that I saw. I mean, she stepped right in. She cared for me, Jonathan, our children, my dad, one of my brothers, and my brother's fiance. We all got sick. So for her to just kind of walk through it, it was just like, wow.
Wow. Yeah, the Lord knew exactly what to do. Let's see. Vanessa says, God bless you, baby girl. What an ordeal. God is so good. I see you guys watching. Lady Beverly says, we are outside in these temps. You are fine. The virus is killed with sunlight and heat. That is why speed therapy. Oh, okay. So she's answering my question. Thank you. And earlier when Brandy was inquiring about whether or not it was you or your mom, she meant your mom. So hopefully, Brandy, she answered your question because you mentioned that Dr. Hill is the one that kind of helped her to get through.
Yes, this is Jackson. He snuck in.
That's the oldest, right?
Yes.
Okay. I looked at us here. But yeah, so this is great stuff. The Prophetess Rolanda says masket or casket. Wow.
There you go. That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I appreciate all of you guys. I'm not going to be able to go through and what I want to do is a spoken word that was written by Tommy Kansas Workers word every week that we're discussing. So I want everybody to take a listen to this before we end. I'm going to come back and end with you.
Okay.
Listen to this. Let me get this set up. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear this.
Happened to you. You knew people who were sick, but you never knew them were sick. Looking upon you were asymptomatic, or so you thought. You were just living your life the way you normally do. You don't understand to be safe at all. You don't get sick, or so you thought. Waking up to a normal day, however, you're not so normal. Aching and chill, breathing out right. Didn't this wrong visit you over in the night, or show nothing? Because when you got up to go to the ER, positive results were determined. You can't go home because breathing gets tougher than pneumonia is setting in. So here you go. One of the statistics being treated like you have the plague because you have the plague. Listening to whispers about the increase while watching news about those who are decent. Lord, you're not ready, you say. If you could just get to the house of the Lord, but they're closed, staying safe virtually. And so you virtual worship with a real worship and prayer because you are not going to town, but you must fight and survive because your kids need their mother, your king needs his queen, and you need to give God the glory. So you pray until the breathing is better. You pray until the temperature goes down. You pray until your appetite returns. You pray because you are determined to survive.
All right. Hopefully you were able to hear that pretty good. If not, you can go back and listen to it. But thank you, Elder McGee, for that spoken word. I think it was right on time. Talking to these two queens on today and their journey. We're just appreciative of you all being transparent and sharing what you have to go through so that you can pay it forward and help someone else as well. Of course, giving God the glory, but helping others as well. Do you want to wrap up with anything today, Jasmine?
No, I thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it. And again, if you all would please follow me on YouTube. It's Jasmine Marie. And on Instagram, it's beautiful _ Jasmine Marie. But Miss Annette, thank you so much for having me on here. Definitely, everyone wear your mask, wash your hands, stay home if you can, and please just keep me in your prayers because I do have to go back to work, and I am going to be on a COVID floor. So please keep me in your prayers.
Well, we are definitely going to do that. We're going to be praying for you and pray that God will continue to bless you and strengthen you and that you will not get this virus again. I don't even want to come in nowhere near you.
No.
Come near you, then the Spirit of the Lord be like, no, you can't touch her anymore.
No, I mean, my fear is that it comes back and it mutates and it's stronger. That's my true fear is that it comes back more powerful in this second wave.
All right, well, we'll pray against that. We'll pray to that avail as well.
Yes.
The Bible says, let your request be made known. So that's
there you go.
You all make sure you pray for her. Keep her in your prayers. Also, Prophetess Rolanda, we thank you again for today. I want to thank all of you for watching, those of you that have shared your comments, your questions, those that I didn't get to on today. Thank you so much. Angie, I see you over here on the watch party. You guys are on the watch party. You are on the Facebook Live and then also on YouTube. So thank you again. I appreciate it. We are going to continue on with COVID survivors during the month of July of Mind, Body, and Soul. So don't miss a beat. Next week, I am going to have a young lady. I know she's probably going to tell me that she doesn't really want to be on, but she wants to tell her story. You know, you get a lot of people that are in the background that don't want to be up front, but I'm pulling her up front. So Missionary Carolyn Smith is going to be on from Abounding Life Church of God in Christ. And also, I'm going to have gospel artist Calvin Bridges. Many of you know him. You've heard his music. He's going to come on next week and tell about his journey with COVID-19. So don't miss a beat. July 15th, next Wednesday, 12 noon Central Standard Time. Meet me here. More survivors are going to come in and share their journey.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's powerful, yes.
Yeah, it's something. But you guys made it. The Lord has blessed you. Come out of it, and this is what we want to hear. We hear a lot of doom and gloom, but we see how the Lord has blessed you all. And thank you again for sharing everything and being transparent. Tell Jackson I said, hey.
Oh, yes.
Little handsome self. But again, thank you. Go to my website, guys, if you want to keep up with me and you want to get caught in the net. Go to getcaughtinanetradio.com. Getcaughtinanetradio.com. And you will find all of our information, past shows, upcoming shows, and what else we have going on. So we're going to get out of here. Let me play my end jingle. And Jasmine, you take care. You are covered under the blood.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Take care, guys. We will see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.